Okay, so I don't need my views anymore. I don't really need post, and in fact, I'm just going to delete post. Delete. Okay. All right, I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, so I just kind of whipped together this post, create table post thing, so you didn't have to watch me type. We have the name of the table post, which is the same as the name of the entity in our data diagram. Okay, and post has all the same fields so far that we mentioned in our entity diagram. Okay, and now I've added in a couple of unique new things. I've got whether or not they're allowed to be null. If it's not null, it's a required field. So we always need an ID, a body, a thumbs up and thumbs down, and a post date, no matter what. Now we can just automatically assume that these are going to be 0, so we can also fill in a default value of 0, default 0, default 0. And here we can do default get date. So if we don't fill information in for these fields, they'll automatically default to those values. So even though they're required fields, we don't always have to manually fill them in ourselves. And you can go through and you can default any fields that you want to, with the exception of an identity field, which we haven't talked about yet. In our post, we need to add another column at the end here. So I'm just going to put another comma here. And the column we're going to be adding is our foreign key column. And we're going to put in ACCID because that's the same name as the primary key in our account table. All right. Oh, and by the way, we're getting this here. There's already an object named post in this database. That's because I deleted the post table, but I haven't refreshed my cache. So I have to go edit IntelliSense refresh local cache, or you can press Shift Control R. Give it a moment. Just pause, wait. It doesn't immediately happen. Then your red squiggly line goes away if it tells you something like that. And you want to make it not lie to you. Okay. Then we can just set that as an integer field, and because it's a foreign key and we want the post to always belong to an account, we also set this to not null. It's very important that we do that. There will be cases where you want foreign keys to be null, but most of the time, and for almost every one-to-many relationship, we will not want them to be null. And we'll discuss when you want them to be null in the second half of the term. Okay. So we've started, we've got post now, and I'm going to execute that. All right, so I've created the table. I have to refresh this as well so I can see the table I just created. And you can see I now have that account ID column in there. So I want to edit my rows and we'll add another row. And we'll do the same thing here as we did before, hello world. Okay. And the post tag will be hashtag hello world, and we'll ignore those things. Make that a 0. Post date again, 2016-02. 05/12, it is now 36 p.m. Okay. Now our account ID is going to be, let's set it to that Carol person again. Okay. So we've got, let's make that into edit because it's a little cleaner looking. Okay. And again, we'll put this in a horizontal tab group. There we go. Okay. So this account ID refers to Carolyn Tucker's account ID. All right. So we can get information about Carolyn Tucker now based on her ID alone. All right. I want to put in another one, hello again world. And this is the same, you know, let's do, yeah, hashtag hello world. And you know, we'll leave the thumbs and the post date empty because I want to show you that it'll automatically fill in for you. Set the account ID. So she's done 2 now, and you can see post thumbs up, thumbs down, and post date have all filled in for me automatically, right? Okay. Also, the post date gets a few milliseconds, fractional seconds in there as well. Okay. So what happens if I try to enter data in here that's not valid? What happens if I put in a new post, and this one's going to be I'm hacking the database, okay, hack the planet. I really hope some of you have watched Hackers. It was pretty awesome. I'm not going to put in actually, you know what? 10,000 thumbs up and negative 10,000 thumbs down because this guy is pretty darn proud of himself. And he's going to pretend he put it in at the Unix epoch. All right, 1970, I think it is, 0101. All right, and he's going to put an account ID 5,000. Okay, now I want you to look at these account IDs here. We have account ID 1 all the way through to account ID 30. I put that in, and my system thinks that that's valid. Okay. We want to put a constraint on things so that we don't make accidental errors in our code. There's checks and balances, and we can never trust our users to type in the correct information. Also, we're going to put on a constraint here that kind of further helps to optimize how our database runs, especially when we start trying to get information out. So let's have a look at how we would do that. I'm going to go